Right, obviously, when Quake Champions came along, nobody who was a Quake dueler really knew what this game would be like and how it would affect the game, because even the premise is like, what? Because basically they took the premise of like almost like character-based aspects of like MOBAs, like League of Legends and Dota, where you have these different characters, but you're playing it in duel. And so if people don't know, you might, if you've seen a Quake duel, especially Quake 3, you might think that the characters are different, but those are just skins. Like the joke is, even Keel, like the giant one, is the same as playing like one of the tiny women ones. Just the hitboxes get covered by the giant thing. In fact, funnily enough, that's why using the big one can sometimes also be bad. You think you've shot the toe with the rail and it doesn't hit the hitbox, does it? We all know that classic one. Whereas in Quake Champions, it really is different. And in fact, obviously, then you had all the ults that were different. And then you have to know, not only can you play that character or not, but you have to sort of know how to battle against it. And then it adds in all this extra complexity. So when Quake Champions initially came along, were you one of the people who was able to immediately embrace the premise? Were you put off by that? Were you part of the crowd that was like, just make it all the same character again and just make duel like it used to be? Which angle were you on?
I was actually a fan of, bringing something like totally new and fresh. And it also attracted me like a lot about the game. You had to open up your mind as a Quaker to get into that kind of Quake. Actually, I also remember so many people have been screaming about bring back this and that, and I was actually glad, and I'm still I'm an absolute fan of the round-based duels we had in the beginning. Like now, and since a few years, we are playing time limit duels again. 10 minutes, like just the way we're playing, kinda since how many years? So I was really a fan of the round-based duel because it was fresh idea, and it also played very intense.
Sure.
And every single decision, like 3 lives on a single map, and every single decision mattered so much. But that was also at the same time the issue, because people didn't like to risk something, and we had so many overtimes and such long overtimes.
I mean, people
on.
play a bit defensive, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you only had 3 lives, so that made things super difficult, and you didn't want yourself to find in a disadvantage. So. But it also, as a player, it made it super intense and super fun, because there was so much mind games going on within the match. I mean, there's still now, of course, but it's just a different kind of competitive environment you had back then, because each life mattered. Now we have 10 minutes. There's always time to catch up if you keep things close as possible. Let's say, as long as your opponent is not running away with the lead. And you can always make the comeback happening. It was a little bit more difficult in the round base. So I can understand both decisions, but I was an absolute fan of the round base.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or be a pleb and don't.